What's up, guys? Alton with another video, and I was just watching the discussion between Rick Caldwell and Ruslan. You guys should check that out. This is a very great video, very great discussion that these two guys had. I implore you guys, go and check that out. But anyway, I'll probably say towards maybe like 30 minutes before the end of the video, Ruslan was basically asking a question. Okay, so to kind of give you guys somewhat of a background of this topic that I'm presenting right now, they were talking about Eric Mason and his book, his new book, dealing with urban apologetics and stuff like that. And one of the things that was asked by Ruslan was, like, if there are people who have certain barriers, you know, when it comes to the Bible, or they have skepticisms because of black people. He was talking about black people, and he was saying that, in a nutshell, do you think that black people do have kind of like a barrier because of white supremacy, right? So, for instance, if there is a black person who is not a believer, basically the mindset is that black person may not be so accepting to the gospel or so accepting to Christianity because of, and one of the examples that he gave was the insurrection that happened at the Capitol. I think it was like, what, January 5th or January 6th or something like that. You know, we had a bunch of people storm the Capitol, and they had on MAGA hats, and they were praying in the Capitol or something like that. So basically his thing is that those type of people who are white nationalists, but they claim to be Christian, people who have done things in the name of Christianity and they were white, could that be a stumbling block to black people today? And if that's the case, then people like Eric Mason and his book, and his stance on like social justice and woke church and all of that stuff, could that be used as a tool to preach the gospel to black people? And that's one of the things that he was talking to Rick about. And Rick was explaining to him, and I mean, you guys gotta watch the video. I'm only gonna kind of give you a little snippet of Rick's response, just in a nutshell, but you guys gotta watch the video to get the full context. But basically, the way that Rick was explaining to him was that, hey, listen, we're all accountable to God because of our sin, right? So it doesn't matter what your experience is, it doesn't matter what you've gone through. You know, you're still going to be held accountable for your sin, and that person is going to be held accountable for their sin against you. Now, I kind of want to veer off in a different path. Not saying that what Rick said was wrong, right? Because I know where Rick was going, but Ruslan, I don't think that he understood. But when I was watching that, an idea popped in my mind. And of course, with me being black, right? Okay, I've been on the side of the conscious community and wanted to exalt my blackness and all of that. See, I've had that mindset. So I know firsthand how people who reject the gospel, I understand what's in their mind and why they reject the gospel. And I'm gonna tell you like this, and I've dealt with people, and still in a way kind of deal with people about why they reject the gospel. Black people who reject the gospel. Let me tell you something. White supremacy, slavery, and all of that stuff, That is not the reason why they reject the gospel. Some of this might sound like a big bombshell being dropped on you, and I'm gonna tell you, that is used as an excuse. It's a poor excuse, but it's only used as an excuse of why people, especially people in the black community, let's keep it real, of why they reject the gospel. Because even when I was rejecting the gospel, it wasn't about no white folks keeping me down or my perception of white people and white supremacy in this country. No, it didn't have anything to do with that. Nothing. It had to do with me wanting to be in my sin. I wanted to do whatever I wanted to do, and I didn't want to have any accountability. That's what it all boils down to. But of course, people don't admit that. They're gonna give you the cookie cutter excuse of, oh, white supremacy, and there was some ship named the good ship Jesus that brought black folks here to America. No. And I'm gonna tell you why that's a very poor excuse. Because under segregation, even during times of slavery, Jim Crow, all of that stuff, black people, there were way more black Christians, and the black community did a heck of a lot better during the times of the heaviest black oppression in history in America. You had more black Christians, more black neighborhoods intact under Jim Crow and segregation than you do now, where you don't have this oppressive white system. Ever since the Civil Rights Movement and on, after you've had the Nation of Islam, the Black Panthers, all of these different groups rising up in the black community, and they started telling black people, hey, get away from Christianity because that's the white man's religion, and you need to stay away from that. This is your true religion here. You need to know that you're from the lost tribe of Shabazz. You need to know that you from the original 12 tribes of Judah because you're black. Oh, you need to know that black folks were the ones who built the pyramids in Egypt. When all of that stuff started being injected into the black community and people started moving away from the church, that's why we have the problems that we have now. So it doesn't have anything to do with white supremacy, because if it did, then guess what? You will have more black Christians now, since you don't have white supremacy and all of these oppressive systems in the black community, like during the times of Jim Crow and segregation. You will have more black Christians now than you would have had back then, where there was a constant reminder of white folks using the Bible in order to oppress blacks. So how come you had more black Christians back then who were living amongst white people who continued to put the Bible in their face and saying that, oh no, we're better because we're of a certain race? They were under Jim Crow and segregation, and white folks were blatantly using the Bible to support their racist narratives. But you still had more black Christians then, and the black community did a heck of a lot better than what they're doing now, without the oppressive hand of the white man. So again, it's not about white supremacy that keeps black people away from the gospel. That is an excuse. It's a poor excuse. So don't let people fill your mind up with, oh, well, since black people have been oppressed in this country 50, 60 years ago, well, that's the reason why black folks are reluctant to come to the Bible. No. It's because we've allowed secular culture to come in and tell us what we should do and what we should accept as black folks. And black people have grown comfortable with sin. So this is a sin issue. This has nothing to do with some other white folks and white supremacists. No, it ain't got nothing to do with that. Because if I can pick up my phone and watch TikTok videos of girls twerking all the time and dudes popping champagne bottles and spraying everybody night, and if I can go and watch the Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion videos all on YouTube unedited, then I can check out the real history and see What is the real history behind the Bible? How the gospel has changed lives in the black community. We have access to just a plethora of information out there. You don't have to live in darkness. You don't have to live with your eyes covered in scales. You can go and research what the faith is all about. You can go and research about this good ship white Jesus and what that was all about, and how the black community flourished when Christianity was the center of the household. You can go and research this stuff for yourself. There's people who don't put decades of knowledge and money into researching this stuff. It's out there. But a lot of these folks, they ain't gonna go and research it because they love sin. And since they love sin, they're gonna fill their heads up with garbage and crap that is against the Bible, that is against Christ, and that is against God. So we need to stop pushing this stupid narrative that somehow what happened 50 and 100 years ago makes black people not want to come to the gospel. No, black people don't want to come to the gospel because they hate God. Not hating God, just, but it's human nature. Not saying that black people hate God, but the human nature, and black people have that same human nature to where they want to reject God. That's basically what I'm saying, if I'm clearing that up. But we all have a nature against God. God is the one that changes our hearts. So it has nothing to do with white people and white supremacy and all of that stuff. You got, just like you have other people of different cultures and religions who hate God. It's not synonymous to white people or black people, whatever. That's why we need to preach the gospel. Not to sit back and go out here and finger point and say, well, there's something going on there, with white folks, and that's why black. No. Black people are accountable to the gospel and receiving the gospel just like everyone else. But anyway, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Do you guys happen to believe that, no, it is white people that's keeping black people back from accepting the gospel and receiving the gospel, because they've been so oppressive and they've been so bad to black folks? They've just done so much to black folks that black folks are just going to automatically reject the gospel because they can look back at all of the oppressive history that white folks have done to them in the name of Christianity? Or do you happen to believe that? No. Black people share the same sin nature and the same rejection of God like everyone else. And this is why we need to preach the gospel, because even black people need the gospel just like everyone else. So whatever you guys believe, let me know in the comment section below. And as always, like this video, rate it, share it, subscribe, and you guys have a blessed day.